These are regular places where we're having regular cases appearing. Eastern region has 11 new cases from Bree North, New Jabin, 1 and Fantiako 1. So that's quite, as you can see, the outbreaks, initial spurts in the Nkoko area, Ko West have been contained, so there are no more reporting cases. Central region is reporting 42 new cases from Gomwa and other parts of the country, but they are more spread, minor 221 here, that is coming up. Western region had 70 new cases. We are from the same Takwa and Suayem and Sekeni Takwa. These are the core hotspots. As we speak to now, the public health team, Dr. Sarkodie and his team are trying to work with them in isolation and finding adequate isolation and being able to contain and move all those who are positive into a place to contain the spread.
Now, Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Nsiasari, refuted allegations, especially contained in a statement by Occupy Ghana, that COVID-19 reported figures are being massaged.
Any figures from the policy level. The Presidential Task Force, and that matter for the presidency, doesn't generate any figures. There is an implementing agency. So this COVID-19 fight is led by Ghana Health Service, the teaching hospitals, and the Ministry of Health is the policy level who is also organizing them, and then we have a Presidential Task Force. The presidency doesn't generate any figures. We see the figures as you have seen here today, and then we then use the figures to plan and monitor whatever is going on. We have shown you exactly the regions and the districts where we are having the COVID-19 cases. So we then target the regions and the districts where we have to send resources there. So I want to repeat once again, we don't generate any figures, we don't manipulate any figures at the presidency, or for that matter, at the Presidential Task Force level. And that is how it is. So I want everybody to take it that the figures that we see, that's what we put forward. That the figures that we see, that's what we put forward. And when they put the figures forward, we take it, plan of it, monitor, and then supervise whatever is going on in the country.
Now, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs says it is committed to evacuating Ghanaians stranded abroad as part of measures to help citizens finding themselves in difficult periods within this COVID-19 pandemic era. Now, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Shirley Ayokobotre, told journalists at the just ended COVID-19 briefing that so far, 856 Ghanaians have been assisted to come back home safely.
The phase 2 evacuations will mainly comprise privately arranged charter flights as well as evacuations earmarked from now to the end of 2020 is as follows. Evacuations from Nigeria on the 4th and 11th of June the 4th brought in 7 persons, Ghanaians, and on the 11th we received 70 returnees who, as we speak, are undergoing their 14-day mandatory quarantine. Then we had an evacuation on the 6th of June from Washington, D.C. of 41 students who were on exchange program in the United States. The evacuation was financed by the State Department of the United States of America, and they are also under quarantine. We have also received on the 6th and the 9th of June a total of 19 Ghanaian mine workers, and they are also in a hotel under quarantine. 14 Ghanaian mine workers were also evacuated from Burkina Faso on the 6th of June. They are also in quarantine. On the 8th, 24 Ghanaian deportees and 1 student were received from China and are undergoing quarantine as well. Then we have 45 workers from Israel who were also received on the 12th of June, also under quarantine. The ministry took advantage of charter flights arranged by the governments of Egypt and South Africa to evacuate their stranded nationals in Ghana. So the South African government, the Egyptian government were bringing in flights to evacuate their nationals out of Ghana. And we were able to, for South Africa, we brought in 3 Ghanaians, and for Egypt brought in 3 Ghanaians. For South Africa, we brought back 5 Ghanaians. They are also going through the process. All these evacuations have been successfully executed. The third phase of the evacuation exercise began on the 12th of June with the arrival of the first batch of 254 stranded Ghanaians from Dubai. In addition, 141 students who completed their French language proficiency course in Benin Republic were evacuated on Saturday 13th June by STC buses and are undergoing the 14-day mandatory quarantine. We expect to receive the second batch of 250 stranded Ghanaians from UAE today, the 16th of June. And then the following assisted evacuations are also in the pipeline. Tomorrow, the 17th, and Sunday, the 21st, we have over 400 Ghanaians who will be coming back home. Also on the 19th, we expect 13 Ghanaians from Burkina Faso. They will come road. And then we are looking at also bringing back Ghanaians, totaling about 195 from Lebanon on the 19th, like I said. Then we'll be evacuating Ghanaians from New York, from Washington, D.C., from China, Guangzhou. And China, we are looking at the end of the month, as well as end of the month for Washington, D.C., and also for New York. We are also planning evacuations, and we are discussing it for the Ghanaians within the continental Europe area. And there are not that many, but discussions have started. Discussions have also started to bring back home Ghanaians in other parts of Africa.
Now, away from this morning's news conference, Director of Ghana Adventist Health Services, Dr. Paula Mutreme, has confirmed the medical director of the Kwadaso SDA Hospital has died of COVID-19, but with underlying health conditions. 48-year-old Dr. Harry Osu-Boateng was found dead in his room on June 13, 2020, few days after complaining of being unwell. Laboratory tests of samples taken confirmed he died of COVID-19 with underlying health conditions. Dr. Mutreme revealed 200 workers of the hospital are also undergoing COVID-19 tests. My colleague, Ohiming Teria, has been interacting with Dr. Mutreme.
Morning hours. When the matter or the news was reported to us, a team was dispatched to take a sample to test, to establish what might have led to the demise. And when the results came, it was established that it was due to COVID-19, yet with underlying health or medical conditions. By the grace of God, our workers, they are stable. We've met them, we've spoken to them, and we've strengthened them. We've also fumigated the hospital, and now work is ongoing. Everything is under control. It is not true that we've closed Kwadaso SDA Hospital. It is not true. They are working.
So what about this information that we also picked that you've stopped admission for the time being or something of a sort? How true is this?
No, we've not stopped admission because when they were fumigating the place, we have to push or transfer the patient from one ward to another. And that might be the reason why people may paddling this story around that we stop admission or we stop working. We are working.
the reports for COVID-19, they are being screened of a sort.
Yes, it is true, because now we should be rest assured that our workers, they are stable, everything is under control. For this reason, there is a need for us to test them, for them to know their status. Because doctor was working in the hospital, he was doing ward rounds with some of the workers, and being the medical director, he was chairing a lot of meetings. So we strongly believe that some of our workers may be at risk, and for them to be on the safer side, it will be more expedient to test them all. So we've tested them, yeah, and we are waiting for the results. We trust in no time the results will be out, and when the results are in, then it will also help us to know the further action which we will take.
How many workers are we talking about here?
Now, we are of the view that we should be able to test all the workers, looking at the situation. So we are testing all the workers.
How many, for instance?
Oh, at least we test more than 200 workers. Wow. Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned you went around with some of your staff members or the workers. What about the patients who probably might have come into contact with the doctor when he went around seeing them and attending to them?
Thank you very much. This is a fantastic question, and it is also a brilliant question. You see, that's the reason why we have their records. So we will work on the contact tracing. Yeah, and with this, we'll be able to get to all the patients. Doctor might have seen them. Yes.
What would be your assurance to people who hitherto have had so much trust and attend the facility seeking medical services? What would be your word to them when, as far as this situation is concerned?
Thank you very much. The vision of Ghana Advent Health Services is to make our services, or to make Ghana Advent Health Service the citadel of medical excellence in the few years ahead of us. And we are encouraging our clients that they shouldn't be discouraged. We are doing everything possible to provide quality services to them. And we are assuring them that when they come to our facilities, they are safe. They are safe. They are safe because we've put in all the necessary measures in place to screen them, pre-triaging and others. So they are safe. They are safe.
This probably,
as I speak with you right now, a team of 7 medical experts are having meeting right now, coming out with some protocols which will safeguard the network. So our people should be rest assured. Yeah.
Right, joining us now is Ohiming Teria, who did that interview and has been following that story. Ohiming, what more have we gathered?
Yes, thank you, Daniel. We are learning that over 200 staff members of the Kwadaso SDA Hospital is currently undergoing testing for COVID-19. And according to hospital officials, this is not the first time, though they are doing this. And apart from the testing of the medical officers here, the facility has also been fumigated to prevent further spread of a sort at the facility here. We were asking whether this news has affected the number of patients or clients who patronize the services of this facility. But according to Dr. Randolph Ba-Edu, who is a clinical coordinator and also a senior specialist or obstetrician gynecologist, he tells me this has not affected the number of people that the hospital see. The hospital continue to record the same figures he used to record. Beyond this, he says this is not the first time that a medical staff has tested positive for COVID-19. And he says this is something that they have been doing. Like every 2 weeks, they conduct a test for medical staff here to know their COVID-19 status. And so they are allaying the fear of the public that the Kwadaso SDA hospital has been closed down. No, it has not been closed down. It is still working after a medical director of the facility tested positive for COVID-19. But I must say the staff who are here, they are down. They have been badly affected by the demise of their medical staff who has been working with this facility since 2013 as a medical superintendent. And almost everybody you see here either is in a red armband. You see red armbands being raised and erected on the pillars and walls of the facility, indicating that indeed the facility has lost somebody who is dear to this facility. Daniel.
Now, Ohiming, tell us, when you went to the facility, did it seem like the number of patients and the amount of activity there is high or it's a bit reduced?
For the number of patients who are here, according to the officers here, the management, it has not been affected in any way. They are seeing the same number of patients that they used to see when the facility has not recorded a COVID death relating to the death of their medical superintendent. So they say the number has not gone down. It's the same numbers that they are seeing, just that the morale of the medical staff is down compared to before the death of the medical superintendent.
I mean, thank you very much for joining us with those updates from the hospital. Now, away from that, the increasing number of active cases compelled President Akufo-Addo to announce additional directives by making it unlawful not to wear face masks. However, a large part of the responsibility of adherence to the measures of COVID-19 prevention comes down to the discipline of the ordinary Ghanaian. Joining us to look at the social implications on not maintaining these protocols by the population is the Executive Director for the National Population Council, Dr. Letitia Adelaide-Appiah, joining us via Zoom. Good afternoon, Doctor. Now, what could account for the flagrant disregard of the protocols?
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to enjoy this afternoon. Yes, we all know how COVID is transmitted. And so if we do not obey the protocols and we welcome COVID, then we will be crowded and COVID will continue to spread. So breaking the transmission very much relies on our behavior. And we should know that our behavior affects everybody. Look at the demise of one of our colleagues, being trained for 7 years, coming to serve us, and then because we are being a bit irresponsible, he also gets COVID and he dies. So we really have to know why we have to do what we have to do, and also appreciate the consequences of not doing the needful. Would we rather be isolated away from our family, or we go according to the social distancing and survive? So those are the choices we have to make. We have to know that the responsibility is on us. The virus, there's no vaccine, there's no medicine. The medicine is social distancing. Social distancing, it's not making the virus welcome. And if we don't make the virus welcome, then it will die off. And social distancing is the only way to keep the virus away. When we crowd, we tell the virus you are very much welcome, spread amongst us.
Is that why we've been seeing the spread in the communities?
Yes, of course. As we were told by the president, the virus can't walk unless we move. So we carry the virus and then we transmit to one another. So the only way to break transmission is to stick to the protocols and be disciplined. That is the only way. Either we do that, or if we get the virus, we go into isolation away from our family. So the choices are really not very interesting. The choices are the social distancing, so we keep ourselves away from the virus, or if we spread it amongst ourselves, then we go into isolation alone and even die alone at times and be buried without your family. We also have to know that if the virus keeps spreading and we overburden our health professionals, they will come to the uncomfortable condition of having to choose who to survive. And that will be needless discrimination. Because if there are so many people in the hospital, they will have to now triage and decide who should survive and who should not survive. I don't think we need that. We need to get to that.
Right.
The other point is, if we spread, we should be mindful that it will also affect our healthcare professionals. So we'll be getting more cases and less healthcare. So then there will be chaos. And chaos will always come after you. The consequences of chaos is bigger chaos. So for us to break the transmission, we really need to take seriously the social distancing protocols.
Now, Doc, you, of course, are the head of the National Population Council, and you do the analysis to see our resources and how well we can support the population. Let me ask, given our current healthcare capacity, how many COVID-19 cases can we take without, causing serious damage in our healthcare infrastructure?
You see, what we have to realize is that one ICU, intensive care unit, takes about 8 nurses, 24 hours to take care of one patient. One ICU bed would take 8 patients. So we have to do the maths. How many ICU nurses do we have? How many ICU beds do we have? How many doctors do we have per 1,000 population? And how many can we sacrifice? You see, we're already in a dire condition. And so the worse we create the chaos, the difficulty becomes, and then nobody has a handle on it. We have to have a societal will. Public health is about community. It's about all of us having the will to survive. Somebody says that sustainable development is common sense plus national pride. So we should have common sense enough to know that if we have to defeat this virus, then we have to socially distance or physically distance. If we want to help the virus propagate, then we crowd. It's as simple as that. Already, what we are seeing is that because of COVID, because of the fear of COVID, people are not even accessing the healthcare services. We have immunizations going down. We have family planning uptake going down. We have other services going down. And so we are compounding the problems. And then in addition to that, we have the economic to deal with. So we really need to act and act swiftly with this. We cannot have the laissez-faire attitude towards this pandemic. The government should be there, but then the population will, the societal will is the next leg. And for me, the most important leg, because you can put in the policies. If the society does not implement the policies, it's as good as wasting the paper.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Letitia Adley-Dapia. She's the head of the National Population Council. You're still live on Joy News today with me, Daniel David. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Say this rhyme with me. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And all play and no work makes Jack a lazy boy. We've been learning from home all this time on Ghana's first educational channel, Joy Learning. Now it's time to have fun and prove to other schools how beautiful our uniforms are. Yes, the Joy Learning Uniform Challenge on Instagram is the place to prove this. Follow us on Instagram at joy_learning TV. Take a beautiful picture of yourself in your school uniform from home. Post your picture and tag us at joy_learning TV. #uniform challenge. Win the bragging rights as the school with the most beautiful uniform in GH, as well as the most well-dressed student title, and be acknowledged on all our social media handles and Joy Learning TV. Please, all students, stay away from this contest though. But if you still have your uniform as fresh and beautiful, you can try it. Why not? Joy Learning. Keep learning.
Take a tour through Ghana's fastest growing online portal, www.adumonline.com, for local and international news, business, entertainment, politics, lifestyle, sports, and more. Watch the most intriguing YouTube videos on demand and live streaming of Adom TV, Ghana's #1 television station. Listen to live radio and podcast of all your favorite Adom FM programs, no matter your location and time. AdomOnline.com is an audio, photos, and video focused website. We break the news as and when it happens. AdomOnline.com is on web and app, making it easy to visit via phone, tablet, and desktop. AdomOnline.com, Ghana's most comprehensive news portal.
Affecting food security and the livelihoods of some fisher folk.
The fish they are throwing back into the sea, they are dead.
Illegal fishing over many decades has led to the overexploitation of the small pelagic fishes by trawlers.
They themselves, they knew that what they are doing is offense, or it's not the right thing they're supposed to do.
What would we do when the last fish is caught? Joy News' Richard Kojunyako goes undercover on the high seas and returns with exclusive footage of trawlers engaged in illegal transshipment of fish. Psycho, when the last fish is caught.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwa. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers says it would push for license withdrawal of oil marketing companies found to be shortchanging consumers. This follows complaints from especially border towns. Executive Secretary of the Chamber spoke to Joy Business after touring some towns in the Volta region as part of investigations.
We also take cognizance of the fact that the immigration service here is doing something worth commending. If you recall, not long ago, they've had to seize, several gallons of oil that was being smuggled.
That was actually on Saturday.
Exactly. So not long ago. We need to be here with them and also learn ways to come together to help so that the state doesn't continue losing revenue from some of these illicit, illegal mind games that some of these operators play on all of us. These gallons of fuel, as you see here, would enter. And because there's no tax on them, you and I will go and buy believing we are paying tax to the state. But at the end of the day, we are just paying money into private individuals' pockets. This we think should end forthwith. And we commend the immigration service here, and we also want to encourage them to be even more vigilant and be able to stop whatever illegal fuel trade that exists in and around Ghana's borders. We are happy to be here.
And as you may have seen in that clip, immigration officials at the Aflao border have intercepted 140 gallons of illegal fuel. Now, the fuel was packed in a makeshift structure waiting to be smuggled into Togo. Sector Commander of the Immigration Service, Chief Superintendent Fred Dodo, told my colleague Fred Duho the National Petroleum Authority must step up its game in curbing fuel smuggling.
For instance, Saturday, our officers, we had an intelligence that some structures have been erected at some part of the border. So quickly, we dispatched officers to go there to go and then monitor. True, when we went, we saw packed gallons of fuel, which of course we decided to monitor and see if we can get some persons involved or in connection with the goods. We were not getting the people, so quickly we said no. Then let's take custody of the goods. So we brought the goods to the border. In all, we had 141 gallons of fuel which we have brought to the border. I think they need to monitor the filling stations, because this fuel are all bought from the filling stations. So they need to at least engage the filling station managers so that if measures can be put in place, so that when they see these yellow gallons of gallons coming to the filling station to buy fuel, they should refuse to sell it to them.
Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission has restored one of the 53 fund management firms that had their licenses revoked. This was after the Administrative Hearing Committee of the Commission met to review the action taken based on the request from 8 firms, including Monarch Capital. However, the Commissioner rejected that of Black Shield Capital, formerly Gold Coast Fund Management. George Raffe has the rest of the story.
Under the securities law, a firm that is sanctioned has every right to push for a review, and that is why these 8 fund management firms are exercising this right. That is to ensure that the action of the Securities and Exchange Commission is reviewed. However, at the end of the day, not all the 8 firms that appealed to the Administrative Hearing Committee for reconsideration of the revocation of their decision were smiling. Black Shield Capital, formerly Gold Coast Fund Management, which was cited for some regulatory breaches, had its request rejected. However, the notice was silent on the reasons for its rejection by the Commission. 4 other companies also had their license revocation sustained. They include Frontline Capital Advisors, Cron Capital, and Crimper Capital, as well as Intermarket Asset Management Limited, formerly CDH Asset Management Company. However, 2 companies had their revocation commuted to 6 months. That is Legacy Fund Management and Integrity Fund Management. But for directors and shareholders of Monarch Capital, they might be the biggest winners at the end of the day, following the decision of the Securities and Exchange Commission to restore their license. But there are still some unanswered questions in the case of Monarch. What would happen to the firm? Would there be any compensation? Are all their funds going to be given back to them? What about its clients? And what about the damages suffered so far, including its reputation? And what about those who are also calling for proceedings of these hearings to be made public? Well, it's not all these firms that decided to submit themselves to this process. Others like First Bank Financial Services, Apex Capital Limited, and Omega are all now in court seeking redress on the revocation of their licenses.
All right, and that's it for Business. Sports is up next. Do stay tuned.
You break your neck to break their neck. That's how you win big games.
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up.
Believe you can win.
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. Keep on surviving.
Joy News.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the sports segment with me, Oreku Wampofo. Former Ghana goalkeeper Richard Olele Kingston has revealed he confronted the then Black Stars coach Milovan Rajevic after he dropped his younger brother Lai Kingston from the 2010 World Cup squad. Then playing for Scottish side Heart of Midlothian, the winger was undoubtedly the biggest casualty as the Serbian coach named his final 23-man squad for the tournament, which was staged in South Africa. And his older brother, Richard Kingston, did not take that decision lightly.
When he was dropped in the first that was 2006.
Yeah.
It was that's one. It was a 50-50. Which I would say the GFA should consider, because he has to serve 2 matches before he can start the next game. So the decision they took, personally, I was not hurt much like the 2010.
You felt that in 2010, Lai should have been there.
I felt so bad that I took 3 or 4 goals against Holland. But people don't understand up to now. When he was dropped,
the pain couldn't make you concentrate in that game.
I went off.
Wow.
Because he deserves to be there. If the first one was a mistake.
Yeah.
So this one, he played the qualified games and he is fit. And he's in form. So why can't you take him there? So I was like, I even went to the coach. Midnight, I knocked his door and I went there and I asked him, Coach, why?
Wow.
Why? I asked him personally, Coach, why? Not like Lai should go and drop. No. He deserves to be there. You can even use that one to compensate him from the 2006, but rather he was dropped, and the way they dropped him also was not right.
Well, to some more stories, and the English Premier League would be kicking off tomorrow, and fans on big screen and specific cameras are being geared to celebrate towards some of the broadcast enhancement that would be used when the league does restart this week. There's more in the following report.
A number of innovations, including tunnel cameras and audio from coin toss, have been developed. Some viewers will also be given the option of listening to games with or without artificial crowd noise. Players will not hear the audio effects in the behind closed doors games. The seats nearest to the pitch will also have covers designed by each club to improve the environment both visually and acoustically. As part of the plans, the Premier League has said live video feeds featuring 16 supporters from each club will be made available to broadcasters and to clubs for use on big screens during matches. Some grounds, including Anfield, do not have giant screens, and it is understood there are no plans to install a temporary one at the home of the Premier League leaders. For goal celebrations, players should maintain distance from one another, and where feasible, broadcasters will identify a celebration camera which players can head to after scoring. Players have also been told they must not surround match officials, and there must be no spitting or noise clearing, while opposition managers will not shake hands. VAR will also resume with extra rooms used in VAR hub for social distancing.
Well, that wraps it up for the sports segment here. We do have some more sports stories for you when Sports Today comes your way live on the Joy News channel at 2 p.m. My name is Oreku Wampofo, and do remember to stay safe.
we came to check up on you and also give you this gift.
So you people still the.
Hey, Charlie, what number? The malaria really knocked you down, eh? Charlie, no joke. Fever, headache, vomiting, loss of appetite. I couldn't even eat my usual fufu. You and your fufu. But I hope you got tested before the malaria treatment. Yes, I did. And thanks to Malatu, I kicked out malaria one time.
When malaria strikes, take Malatu, containing artemether and lumefantrine. Comes in tablets and suspension for effective treatment of malaria.
Great to have you back. Thank you. No problem.
Malatu is suitable for adults and children. Manufactured and distributed by NS Chemist Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Celebrating 25 years of joy. To our audience, the chiefs and people of Ghana, we say Baraka.
Struggling to find a marketplace for the electronic version of his book, Joseph Yao-Frimpong teamed up with his friends to create the Reader app.
Initially, I didn't have any expectation because I thought like, oh, maybe it would be like maybe a very small side hustle. But then like, the first week I was surprised.
This Wednesday on the Joy Business Van, we'll hear how Reader app is not only giving authors a place to sell their ebooks, but providing the much needed company during this period of COVID-19 restrictions.
As compared to the other months in April, we had like many new users coming to the app, and we had like many people reading books on the app. Currently, we have nearly 1,000 users, and then about 95 books here.
Voices of the Crisis, the Reader app, this Wednesday on the Joy Business Van, on TV, radio, online and on ground. It is powered by Joy Business and supported by Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank.
Now, in world news, the World Health Organization is warning of a second wave of coronavirus outbreak as over 100,000 confirmed cases have been reported worldwide each day. Director General of WHO, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, in his latest address mentioned that it took over 2 months to reach the 100,000 mark, but now it is a daily norm. He cautioned world leaders to stay alert to the possibility of resurgence.
More than 7.8 million cases of COVID-19 have now been reported to WHO and more than 430 deaths. It took more than 2 months for the first 100,000 cases to be reported. For the past 2 weeks, more than 100,000 new cases have been reported almost every single day. Almost 75% of recent cases come from 10 countries, mostly in the Americas and South Asia. However, we also see increasing numbers of cases in Africa, Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and the Middle East. Even in countries that have demonstrated the ability to suppress transmission, countries must stay alert to the possibility of resurgence. Last week, China reported a new cluster of cases in Beijing after more than 50 days without a case in that city. More than 100 cases have now been confirmed. The origin and extent of the outbreak are being investigated. Despite the ongoing global response to the COVID-19 pandemic, we cannot lose sight of other significant public health issues, including influenza. Influenza affects every country every year and takes its own deadly toll. As we enter the Southern Hemisphere influenza season and begin planning for the Northern Hemisphere season, we must ensure that influenza remains a top priority. Co-circulation of COVID-19 and influenza can worsen the impact on healthcare systems that are already overwhelmed.
And that's world news. You're still live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Daze. Up next is Kadi with Showbiz.
Celebrating 25 years
of joy to our audience,
the chiefs and people of Ghana, we say Barka.
Greatness is found in history and in heroes. Greatness is rising above the ordinary. Greatness is the long, difficult road to being extraordinary. A series of documentaries profiling the lives of extraordinary leaders in the Ghanaian society. Ghana's Greats, coming soon on Joy News. Ghana's fisheries resources keep depleting at an alarming rate, affecting food security and the livelihoods of some fisherfolk.
The fish they are throwing back into the sea, they are dead.
Illegal fishing over many decades has led to the overexploitation of the small pelagic fishes by trawlers.
They themselves, they knew that what they are doing is offense, or it's not the right thing they're supposed to do.
What would we do when the last fish is caught? Joy News' Richard Kojunyako goes undercover on the high seas and returns with exclusive footage of trawlers engaged in illegal transshipment of fish. Psycho, when the last fish is caught.
Good afternoon, my name is Kadi and you're welcome to the Showbiz segment right here on Joy News today. Now to my very first story. Singer and songwriter Kwame Eugene has reacted to a section of his fans who keep pestering him to release new music. It has been quite a while now since Kwame Eugene released a new song compared to his label mate Kidi, who not long ago released his Blue album. Now, the musician has kept his fans in limbo as they keep asking him for another hit song. Reacting to this and a video he posted to his Instagram, the Obiato Hitmaker asked for more time and promised to release more songs soon. But there's a silver lining. The rock star gave a little snippet of his new song with caption, dropping soon.
Hi, it's rock star Kwame Eugene. I know at this moment a lot of people are pissed, a lot of people are angry. I mean, you guys are complaining that Kwame release a song, and it looks like I don't want to mind anyone, and it looks like I don't care. Hey, newsflash, I do care. And I'm putting together some beautiful piece for you guys. So, yeah, give me some time. And very soon you'll be jamming to Kwame Eugene songs. Yeah, like never before. But for now,
now, away from that, George Floyd's daughter, Gianna Floyd, is a Disney stockholder thanks to American singer Barbra Streisand. Now, Gianna Floyd took to Instagram to thank the Hollywood legend for a gift package that included a new stock portfolio as well as a copy of 2 Streisand albums, including My Name is Barbara from 1965 and Color Me Barbara from 1966. In addition to Streisand, Gianna Floyd's newly created Instagram account has netted over 36,000 followers and has received love from and support from Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama since the tragic death of her father while in Minneapolis police custody.
Barbra Streisand sends a generous gift to George Floyd's daughter. Gianna Floyd revealed Barbara's gifts in a series of photos on her Instagram page. In one pic, the 6-year-old is seen holding a signed letter from the legendary singer. In another photo, Gigi is holding a Disney stock certificate, though it's unknown how many shares she received. Disney stock is known for its positive long-term returns, however. Thank you, Barbra Streisand, for my package. Gianna captioned the photos, "I am now a Disney stockholder thanks to you." Barbara's package also contained 2 of her albums, Color Me Barbara and My Name is Barbara. While Barbara hasn't posted on her social media accounts about the generous gifts, she has shared several posts in support of the Black Lives Matter movement and the protests sparked by George Floyd's killing while in police custody. A beautiful moment of silence for George Floyd in Minneapolis yesterday. There's such power in solidarity, and it can all be done non-violently. Streisand captioned a June 2nd post. What happened to George is a modern-day lynching. And Barbara reposted a video of former NBA player Steven Jackson Sr. with Gianna on his shoulders.
Dad changed the world.
Daddy changed the world.
That's right, Gigi. Daddy changed the world. George Floyd, the name of change. Hashtag justice for George Floyd. Hashtag I've had enough. Love to all who have love for all.
That's all we have for Showbiz for this afternoon. There's more Showbiz on Prime. Don't miss that out. My name is Kadi. Over to you, Daniel.
Thank you so much, Kadi, and have yourself a great day. That's it for this bulletin of Joy News today. My name is Daniel Dazi. Thanks for joining us. For more news, log on to myjournalite.com. Up next is The Marketplace.
Struggling to find a marketplace for the electronic version of his book, Joseph Yao-Frimpong teamed up with his friends to create the Reader app.
Initially, I didn't have any expectation because I thought like, oh, maybe it would be